From the day Chisum was born, people said she looked like a baby from the movies. Her skin was smooth and golden, her eyes big and bright like a doll's. The nurses at the small hospital in Anambra even paused to admire her. One of them whispered, "This one go break hearts." From the time she was a little girl, people would stop her mother in the market and say, "This your daughter no real beauty queen." As she grew older, her beauty became harder to ignore. In her village, where most people looked the same, Chisum stood out. Strangers stopped her on the road to ask if she was mixed race. Some would touch her hair and say it looked too soft to be from around here. But while outsiders loved her beauty, the women in her family didn't feel the same way. Her mother, Ebo, never once told her she was beautiful. "She will grow proud if you tell her too much," her mother told admirers. Her mother, aunties, and even her elder sisters didn't smile when someone praised Chisum. Her mother would quickly say, "Beauty no dey cook soup. Make she read book." Chisum grew up in a house full of women. Her father, the only one who loves and protects her, had lost his job and left to another town with her baby brother to work when she was just 5, leaving behind 4 daughters and one tired mother. The oldest sister, Olama, was 17 when their father relocated. She became like a second mother to Chisum. But even Olama didn't seem to like how much attention Chisum got. "Stop walking like that. Must you always behave as if the world is watching?" Olama would snap. "But I'm just walking," Chisum would reply, confused. At first, Chisum didn't understand it. She thought they were just strict. Her mother often sent her to the farm alone, even when her sisters were at home doing nothing. Her auntie Uju once tore her best dress before a church program and said, "You two dey show yourself." Even her cousin, Ifinanya, used to be her friend when they were small. But as they grew older and boys started noticing Chisum more, Ifinanya's smiles became fewer. One day, she told Chisum, "You think say not only you fine. Wait make mosquito bite your face." Chisum would laugh nervously, pretending not to be hurt. But deep inside, she wondered why the people who were supposed to love her didn't. At school, the teachers liked her. Boys brought her groundnuts and meat pies. Girls smiled at her but never invited her to their houses. By the time she turned 16, it had become clear. The women in her family didn't just dislike her, they were jealous of her. But Chisum never saw herself that way. She didn't feel special. She helped with chores. She fetched water. She swept the compound. She didn't ask to be praised. All she ever wanted was to be loved back. She didn't even dress to show off. Her clothes were always second-hand. Her shoes were hand-me-downs from her sisters. Still, when she walked to the market, men turned and women whispered. It wasn't her fault. But somehow, it became her punishment. Wait. Before we continue, have you liked this video yet and commented? Because if you watched till now, it's because this story is sweeter than sugar and honey combined. LOL. Also, please take a chance on us and subscribe so that you can enjoy more interesting and captivating stories like this one. One evening, as she sat on the wooden bench outside their compound, her mother called her in. "Chisum." She jumped up quickly and ran inside. "Yes, Ma." Her mother was standing with her hands on her waist. "You know sweep this place. Everywhere they dirty. You just dey outside like fine madam." "But Mama, I swept this morning." Her mother didn't respond. Instead, she slapped her hard across the face. Chisum staggered. "Next time you talk back to me, I go beat you till you forget your name." Tears gathered in Chisum's eyes, but she didn't let them fall. She nodded and cleaned the floor again, even though it wasn't dirty. Later that night, lying on her bed in the small room she shared with 2 of her cousins, she whispered to herself, "Why does my own mother hate me this much?" Still, she tried her best to be kind. She cleaned the house, helped with her nieces and nephews, and shared her snacks. But no matter what she did, There was always this silent war between her and the other women in her family. She wondered why. She would soon find out. Chisum had just turned 15 when she first fell in love. There was a boy in their street named Nonso. He was 2 years older than her. Tall, dark, soft-spoken, and helpful. He lived 3 houses away. Every time Chisum walked past his compound, he smiled at her and greeted her nicely. Sometimes, he helped her carry firewood or water. One time, he even defended her when some boys were mocking her near the main road. Chisum would smile for hours after seeing him. Her heart beat fast whenever he waved at her. She even started going to buy bread for her mother more often, just so she could pass by his gate. But she didn't know that her elder sister, Olama, was watching her. One afternoon, Chisum was walking back from the market, and she saw Nonso and Olama talking and laughing at the front of their gate. Olama had never spoken about Nonso before, but now she was giggling like they were close friends. Chisum stood at a distance and watched, her heart beating fast. She felt something strange in her stomach. That night, when Chisum tried to tell Olama that she liked Nonso, Olama only smiled strangely and said, "You. What would a serious boy like that want with a small child like you?" Chisum didn't say anything after that. But a few days later, everything changed. Nonso stopped greeting Chisum. He avoided her eyes. He acted cold and distant. One day, Chisum gathered courage and asked him why he was acting like that. Nonso looked at her for a moment and said, "It's better I stay away. I heard you're not serious, that you flirt with boys in school." Chisum's heart broke instantly. "That's not true," she whispered. But Nonso had already walked away. The next Sunday, she saw Olama and Nonso sitting together at the back of the church, talking and laughing like 2 people in love. Olama was leaning close to him, touching his arm, smiling sweetly. That night, Chisum cried herself to sleep. She finally told her mother what had happened. She explained everything, how she liked Nonso, how Olama must have lied to him, how he now hated her. But her mother only shook her head and said, "Face your books, Chisum. Beauty is nothing. Boys don't matter. Don't come to me with childish talk." Chisum felt crushed. She felt alone. She began to understand something painful. In this house, her feelings didn't matter. In this house, her beauty made her a target. From that day, something inside her started to change. She stopped smiling as much. And she started keeping her secrets to herself. As Chisum stepped into her teenage years, she began to feel more and more like a stranger in her own home. It started slowly. Her mother would lock away her best clothes, saying they needed to be preserved for Christmas or too grown for her age. Her lotions and deodorants mysteriously went missing. When Chisum asked, her mother would snap, "So you want to start rubbing creams now, eh? Who are you trying to impress?" It didn't make sense. Then one weekend, there was a family wedding. Chisum was excited. She had picked out her favorite gold and pink dress a week before. But on the morning of the event, Aunt Ngozi stormed into her room with a folded wrapper and an old blouse. "You're not wearing that nonsense," she said sharply. "You think this is your stage to steal the show? This is your cousin's day, not yours." Chisum's stomach dropped. She wore the outfit they gave her, even though it made her look older and dull. At the wedding, people barely noticed her. And still, her cousins laughed behind her back. Later that night, she discovered that they had posted embarrassing photos of her online, zooming in on her awkward clothes and mocking her in the captions. The comments were full of laughing emojis. Chisum tried to hold back her tears, but when she got home, she locked herself in the bathroom and cried silently. At school, things were completely different. Her classmates liked her. She was admired, often chosen to represent her class during inter-house debates or cultural events. She made people laugh, and teachers praised her discipline. But at home, she walked on eggshells. Anytime she was happy, something bad would happen. If she smiled too much, someone would say, "Who is making you laugh like that?" If she looked too nice, someone would comment, "So you want to start advertising yourself?" Even success brought trouble. When she got second best result in class, her mother sneered, "You couldn't beat Chidima again." Beauty with empty head. Once, Chisum joined a youth dance group in church, and Aunt Ngozi pulled her aside to hiss, "You think you're a star now? Let me warn you, this is how disgrace starts." Then came the night that changed everything. Chisum got up quietly to drink water, and on her way to the kitchen, she passed her mother's bedroom. The door was slightly open. Inside, she heard her mother and Aunt Uju whispering. "It's happening again," her mother said. "That beauty, the same beauty that destroyed my own youth. You should have prayed harder during her pregnancy," Aunt Uju replied. "We told you, pretty girls bring curses in this family. It never ends well." "If I had known, I would have tied her face in the womb," her mother muttered. "I won't let her bring shame like I did. I won't." Chisum's hand trembled. Her cup dropped and shattered on the floor. The voices stopped. She froze, then ran back to her room and dove under her blanket. Her heart raced. That night, a bitter truth settled in her chest like stone. Her beauty was seen as a curse. They believed she would bring shame and disaster to the family. They didn't just dislike her, they feared her. And that fear had turned to hate. From that night on, Chisum promised herself, "I will not become like them. They can hide my clothes, mock me, starve me of kindness, but I will not lose myself." If you want a part 2 of this story, kindly like this video and comment, "I want part 2, and I will post the story continuation immediately. Thanks for watching.